What it is, y'all? Welcome to another Blue Light Breakdown. Back by popular demand, we're going to be taking a look at Know It All by the band Camino. What have you got for us today? Let's check it out.
Somebody told me that you found somebody new and you're happy. You were never really very good at being alone.
All right, we're going to stop it there. Let's scoot back here. We got a lot going on in this intro. So right off the bat, we kind of have this synth giving it the body. Right? And then a lot of little elements here and there thrown in, right? We got some vocals, some know-it-all. Very heavily filtered kick and snare, back in kind of holding down the beat. And a lot of spatial elements that's taking advantage of the stereo space, right? This is just the ear candy, right? It's not really meant to have a lot of form, I don't think, right? We're just leading into the song by providing a lot of ear candy, trying to get us hooked right away. Right, kind of going back and forth in the ears there. Some processed vocals turned into an instrument, the higher register. Let's keep it going. Repeat. Notice that they do have a snare hit that's not as filtered, maybe giving a little more punch on the know-it-all line, right there. And then into verse 1. Just a cool little walk down too with that little vocal synth.
Somebody told me that you found somebody new and you're happy. You were never really very good at being alone.
Tons of space. We got that same little synth, sort of a pluck, and a hi-hat with some filtered kick still. But that's pretty much it. Letting it breathe a lot, which I think is a good choice because his voice is fantastic. We know that. And it's allowing us just to listen to the melody, to the lyrics.
Somebody told me that you found somebody new and you're happy. You were never really very good at being alone.
There is
Very good at being alone.
an extremely high
Never really very good at being alone.
double there, I believe, on the vocals, something like that. It's super high up there and almost inaudible.
Very good at being alone.
Then it drops away. And some ear candy. Again, some producer flexes on the percussion there. With a little snap.
Getting serious, so whatever that means. I'm sure you told him I was just somebody you used to know. I know.
All right, so on the repeat of the verse, I do appreciate the tie-in to the intro because they're using a lot of the same elements that they were using as ear candy in the intro. Like that, I believe it's sort of like a guitar feedback sound that's bouncing between the ears.
You were never alone.
And they have it here on the second part of verse 1.
Getting serious, so whatever that means.
Right there.
I'm sure you told him I was just somebody you used to know.
Adding the snare in there as well to give it a lot more progression. All right, 40 seconds in. Pretty short verse. Let's see where we're going.
I know he doesn't know it all. No, he don't know that you and me had something chemical. The things you said to me when we were drunk in Montreal. I bet you told him about me. But no, he doesn't know it all.
All right, very in-your-face chorus there. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
I know he doesn't know it all. No, he don't know that you and me had something chemical.
Very first thing I noticed was a similar tactic to the Daphne Blue song that I've broken down previously of theirs. they wait to come in with the instrumentation on the chorus until a few beats in. Let's listen to it again.
I know he doesn't know it all.
That'd probably be the 3 of the first measure. Let's count it. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I know he doesn't know it.
Yep.
No, he don't know that you and me has something chemical. The things you
And that's a really cool way of giving heft to something in a unique way, right? The tendency would be to come in on beat 1, right? But by pulling out for a couple beats and letting the song breathe momentarily actually can bring a heavier effect when you do bring the instrumentation in later. And I think it's pretty well used here because it's a pretty short chorus, so it needs to have a lot of punch. It has it because we bring in the full band now, right? We got unfiltered full kit on the drums. We got the power chords, the bass, right? Everything comes in, but it just adds that slight bit of heft by coming in on a slightly unique beat. Let's listen to that transition again.
it's just somebody you used to know. I know he doesn't know it all. No, he don't know that you and me has something chemical. The things you said to me when we were drunk in Montreal. I bet you told him about me, but no, he doesn't know it all.
The bass is doing a lot of dives here, a lot of
I
drops.
know he doesn't know it all. No,
Right there.
he don't know that you and me has something chemical. The
Again.
things you said to me when we were drunk in Montreal.
Big one there.
Told him about me, but no, he doesn't know it all.
4 times it does that. 4 times the bass does one of those slides, which obviously is very kind of a heavy feel as well.
Doesn't know it all. No, he don't know that you and me has something chemical. The things you said to me when we were drunk in Montreal.
And another tactic to provide that heaviness is, again, pulling out for a beat here and there and letting it breathe. They do that especially
No, he don't know that you and me has something chemical. The things
right
you
here.
said to me when we were drunk in Montreal. I bet you told him about me, but no, he doesn't know it all.
Again, I've talked about it before, where empty space a lot of times is an underused and underappreciated skill. I think it's really honestly a skill because you have to know when it works and when it doesn't, and you have to understand the purpose behind it. I like the use of it here. It does provide that heft with the shorter chorus, like we're saying. I will say there's a couple elements to this where it's so full of ear candy, like those bass dives and pulling out for a beat or two, and things bouncing between your ears. It's approaching on an overproduced sound and feel, which isn't my favorite. But I do think that use of empty space is well used here. The other thing I want to mention is the backing vocals are pretty indistinct, but they are there doing a lot of know-it-alls. Here, check it out. Listen deep in the back there. You're going to hear that kind of know-it-all chorus, which again ties into the intro, which is a cool touch.
I know he doesn't know it all. No, he don't know that you and me has something chemical. The things you said to
Right
me
there.
when we were drunk in Montreal. I bet you told him about me.
You hear that? It's way back there, but it's saying know-it-all, really kind of filling in those gaps a bit, and that gives it a pretty interesting quality.
No, he don't know that you and me has something chemical. The things you said to me when we were drunk in Montreal. I bet you told him about me, but no, he doesn't know it all.
Similar to the intro here on this kind of break between the chorus and verse 2, we have a heavy delay on Know It All. Know it all, know it all, know it all. Again, those very vocally synths leading us into it, and quick fill and into a fully produced or full band on verse 2.
Do you remember when the world was in the walls of your bedroom?
Very punchy snare. Cool little reverb tail on this very last one here. On that one right there. It's the only one. It's the only one in those 4 bars, 4 or 8 or however many. There's still a lot going on. I'm still hearing some of those bass sweeps, even though it's not as deep now. A couple reverse vocal elements. Super hard to pick out. Listen deep. See what you can pick out. I'm not going to be able to hear it all or get into it right here. All right, main progression here on the repeated verse 2 is the guitar. We got a couple extra. I still remember what it felt like the first time I had you. That and the bass is having a little bit more fun as well. Yeah. They're just adding some movement, right? We didn't really get that in the first verse at all. Super open. Repeat here. A lot more guitar, few layers in there. There's one in the left and in the right that are distinct from each other, I can tell. All right, let's hear chorus 2. All right, chorus 2 repeats, and we got the same tactics on beat 3. And here we get a bit of a taste of what it would sound like if we didn't come in on beat 3 at that initial chorus break. Because it repeats, and we have a cool drum fill. And everything's there on beat 1 of that repeat. And it sounds fine, it sounds good, but I do think it doesn't have that same grip, that same heft, that kind of locks you into the first part of the chorus, because I don't know, it's more smooth, and that's not always a good thing. I wasn't expecting them to let it breathe there like they did, but they did, and it's a choice. I don't know if it's a good or bad one, but it is. All right, let it rip. There's a synth or a secondary guitar part. It's panning left and right, kind of doing some arpeggios. Tremolo, heavily used here. Providing that movement there on the guitar solo. Oh. I actually appreciate they were kind of just staying on 2 chords here, or almost droning more. I think it lets the solo shine a little bit more than if we were really doing the full chord progression. And of course, I always go back too far.
Honestly, I hope you're happy.
Pretty simple. I like the simplicity of that solo. We have a very stable foundation, drums, bass doing their thing, kind of standard, a little counter arpeggios with that part I mentioned, and then just kind of shredding on the guitar. And it sounds good. You know, you don't want to overdo it. With me already mentioning that I feel like there's a lot of overproduction in this song, I think that was a really nice breath of fresh air. Bridge.
I hope you're happy, hope you're doing well. I'll still keep your secrets even though you're with someone else. I know he doesn't know it.
All right.
I'll still keep your secrets even though you're with someone else.
Vocoder, right? Providing those harmonies underneath the vocal.
Honestly, I hope you're happy, hope you're doing well. I'll still keep your
A little bass or a little synth there, just doing a little eighth note.
doing well. I'll still keep your secrets even though you're with someone else. I know
And that's some glitch hop nastiness there in a little transition.
with someone else. I know he doesn't know it all. No, he don't know it.
I'm a guess what happened here
I know he doesn't.
is one of the beautiful things that happens in production. You have all these resources at your disposal now that you didn't have back in the day, right? All these plugins and all these sound libraries, and things are so easy to drag and drop and just play around with. The sky's the limit, really. And I'm gonna guess that this is one of the times when you just kind of played around with something, you didn't know what was gonna come out of it, and you're like, oh, sounds cool, so leave it.
Someone else. I know he doesn't know.
Right? Because it's like some, I think what's happening, there's some grain delay, there's some resampling and stuff there where they're basically taking little bits of the audio that they're putting through some plugins and repeating them and splicing them together in certain ways. And plugins, there's things that do that for you. And again, you don't really know what you're going to come out with. So you kind of just let it go, let it ride, and you either like the result or you don't. And they obviously like this one. I think it sounds kind of cool.
Someone else. I know he doesn't know it all. No, he don't know that you and me have something chemical. The things you said to me when we were drunk in Montreal. I bet you told him about me. But I know.
All right, so in our final build up to the last chorus,
I know he doesn't know it all. No, he don't know that you and me have something chemical.
just the drums, kick, flam on the snare, and some rhythm guitar, and that's it.
The things you said to me when we were drunk in Montreal. I bet you told him about me.
Repeat.
But I know he doesn't know it all. Like why you love the color yellow, but you hate the song.
Even better taste of that beat one feel with everything coming in on this repeat.
But I know he doesn't know it all. Like why you love the color yellow, but you hate the song. And now you told me I would always be the only one. I bet you told him about me. But I know he doesn't know it all.
And I think it doesn't need that heaviness anymore, right? We have
About me.
an open repeat with just those drums, which is providing that nasty heaviness. And then on the repeat, right, this is the last chorus. We've been building here, and just the fact that it's slightly different, we've progressed slightly, where now the full band is on beat one. It's fine, it works.
About me. But I know he doesn't know it all. Like why you love the color yellow, but you hate the song. And now you told me I would always be the only one. I bet you told him about me. But I know he doesn't know it all. I know he doesn't know it all. I know he doesn't know it all.
Final repeat is the instrumentation with some hoo-hoos. Who doesn't love a good owl, right? A lot of production, a lot of ear candy, and that's what we live for on this channel, isn't it? So I'd say that was pretty darn dope.